I'm actually watching the stream on my iPad in front of me.
Good Monday evening, everybody. I know it's a little unusual to see me on a Monday. If it's not a Thursday, usually it's a Friday, sometimes a Tuesday, a little odd. I think it's my first Monday stream, and I have my wonderful guest over there, iKoniKModz. Um, if you haven't seen his stuff, his link is in the description. Well, links to both his Twitter and his YouTube are down there. And if anybody has any questions for us, feel free to throw those in the chat. We're just gonna kind of hang out and chat and kind of, I don't know, not have a typical Monday. You know, everybody hates it. They get a case of the Mondays and they don't like that. And
Yeah, sometimes Mondays can be bad, I guess you could say. Rough.
so, how was your day?
It started off a little rough, got way better later on. So I'm not complaining. I'm still good. Try to take everything with a grain of salt and keep it moving.
When did you? Let's see. So you got out of work at 8 o'clock today. When did you go in?
Today, 12. It was a short day
Uh,
for me.
oh, okay.
So yeah. Normally we do 10-hour days. But it varies. Every now and then they throw in a short day. So
Well, for the people who don't know what you do, what do you do? I should say.
My daily daytime job is a first responder. I guess you can consider it. That's what we're considered. I don't know, but I work for AAA. Um, so yeah, I'm always helping people who break down on the side of the road or who are stuck at home or wherever they're at. So yeah.
I kind of are you still keeping pretty busy then doing that right now? Because I wondered if with everybody like supposed to be quarantined in a lot of areas, if you know, if you that would kind of minim if it would affect this at all because you know people aren't supposed to be out on the roads. So if they, you know,
Key words that
but
you said was they should be home and they're supposed to be home. And they don't stay home.
I
There's people everywhere doing all I saw a group of guys at the basketball court playing basketball. They all had on masks, but they're playing basketball with no shirts on. I'm like, really? like, really? It's yeah,
I
people don't listen. So
I I feel like it's actually been busier, at least around here, since they issued it, and it's like I feel like I
mhm.
don't know if it's because everybody's kind of trying to rebel or like what's going on. It's like, dang, you see it's busier. You go into the only thing I noticed that changed is when you go into the store, everybody's wearing masks,
Yep.
and like you know how you ever go to like Meijer or Walmart or something, and you know there's always the people that decide that's where they're going to meet up, right? You know they
Mhm.
bump into each other while they're grocery shopping. The only difference now, and instead of nice and close within like handshaking distance,
Mhm.
they're like 8-10 feet away from each other, kind of yelling at each other.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I actually saw the craziest thing. And I didn't think, at the time I was like, there's no way Casey is the only person doing that. And he's not. Casey Neistat had posted a picture of him and his wife sitting in the back of their SUV with the back hatch open. And his sister parked with the back of her SUV facing theirs, the same thing with the back hatch open. And they were having a conversation trying to practice social distancing. And it was funny because I actually saw some people doing that like last week. I was like, okay, I didn't think that was a thing, but apparently it is. So
Yeah, it makes me think of the whole like trunk or treat Halloween thing that people do, and now they're just doing this in random spots so they can hang out with each other. I know somebody who had a birthday yesterday, his wife it was his 40th birthday, so his wife like put something out on Facebook that people couldn't like that people could see that he couldn't see to arrange for anybody to that wanted to like drive by their house with like signs and things like that since they couldn't really go anywhere and nobody can come over. It's one of those like you don't have that birthday more
yeah,
than once. The irony of this whole thing is my birthday is had my 30th birthday on March 10th, and
Oh
that's
wow.
literally the day that the first official case was, I guess, like authenticated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went out till dinner, got home, and then it was like minutes later at 6 o'clock news.
Oh
Because we
wow.
went out, we decided to go earlier because I went with me, my wife, my son, and my parents, and we
Mm,
just decided to, instead of, we were gonna go at normal time, to go earlier, and then that way we could just kind of get it over with. And then I also um had planned on streaming when I got home, so
mm,
that way it wasn't like 9, 10 o'clock at night and trying to do a stream, or I guess it would be more like 10, 11 o'clock at night trying to do a stream. And
mm-hmm.
I uh I was shocked when I got home and put on the news and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it was good timing. And we were gonna wait till the weekend afterwards too, so I guess I'm glad I didn't, because then by then everything was starting to shut down. It was that quick.
Yeah. That was perfect timing.
And people are crazy around here. I mean, I live about a half an hour from the capital, from Lansing, where they had all the protests going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just glad that it's like I'm just far enough away that I didn't know what was going on. But there were people that were around that area that they could hear people. They saw people driving by, honking, holding up signs, yelling at each other. It's crazy. And I don't know. It's one of
Yeah.
those things that I feel like there's better ways to go about it, and it's not going to help. But enough about that
Okay.
stupidity.
No, you're good.
So,
You're good.
so tell us a little bit about. I want to know. I kind of know, but there's those channels out there where you know what they're all about. You've been watching them for a while,
Mhm.
that type of thing. But you and I kind of are connected recently. It's not like we've been, you know, interacting back and forth for a super long time or anything like that.
Right.
So tell me, and anybody else, I guess, who doesn't know, what your channel's all about.
Let's see. My channel is. It started off originally. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do all PC stuff and all of that, but it quickly like changed. So now it's more product reviews more than anything. It's still tech related, but mostly product reviews more than strictly PC stuff. So it can be anything from microphones. I work a lot with Deity. They just recently sent me another microphone to review. Um, so it's all kinds of stuff now. Like I just did iPad review. I got another iPad review coming up soon. Hint, hint for anybody who doesn't know. Um, yeah, it's mostly product reviews at this point. It's tech stuff, but product reviews.
So you mentioned deity. I saw your video. I saw your photos, and I saw your thing about where you showed off the hat that had the two logos on it.
Hmm.
Um, was that like for them, or was that just something you're experimenting with, or?
No, okay, so I have an embroidery business. If anybody's seen my setup tour video that I did about a month ago, month and a half ago, you saw my embroidery machine. It's actually over here to my right. But I run my own embroidery company, and I've been doing stuff for different people who are streamers, companies, and all that. And because I work with Deity so much, um, we were or we're still planning on doing a joint venture where it's a giveaway, so to speak. But me and Andrew, he's been looking to get some apparel for Deity, and I was like, well, I can actually handle that for you. That's not a problem. So I got everything set up, and actually made him some shirts that I sent off to him. So he'll probably be wearing that at some of his shows coming up soon.
Cool. That's exciting stuff. It's always awesome to see when creators get to interact with and work with companies, especially,
Mhm.
when it's not like you have to have, 50,000 subs before you even get looked at. So that's awesome. It says a lot about like your work and the struggle you put in and the time that you spend on the quality for your product being the actual items themselves plus you, because you are part of your product, of course.
Mhm.
You're you're constantly selling yourself with whether it's the quality of your videos or what you're putting out there, interactions with people, and it's one of the things that's super important. I think that's why um, people who they put up a channel and that's all they do, but they don't go like on Twitter, Instagram, or any sort of other social media and interact with people,
Mhm.
then it's kind of dry. And how do you learn? How do you know what people want? Yeah, you can interact with people in your comments, but that's limited to the people that are actually watching. You don't get interaction with other creators. You don't get to see what everybody else is doing, and so I think it's great to see you interacting with people, interacting with me, interacting with, um, just the community, and that's what, um, having you on here is about interacting with the community. That's what have anytime I have anybody on, it's not like, "Oh, I wanna have you on because I'm just gonna use it as, like, a reason to push what I'm doing." Obviously, that gets thrown in there. You gotta tout, "Okay, this is the reason behind this sort of thing." But I've done videos on that, so if somebody really wants to know, they can just go watch the video that's literally dedicated to, "This is why I'm doing this," you know?
Yeah.
But, it's great,
Yeah.
um
I try to interact as much as possible. I try to be it's hard a lot of times because of my schedule and trying to trying to run my business, be the family guy, work, as well as try to be the YouTuber and also, be the guy who's like supporting his fellow creators and all of that. So I try to join as many live streams as I can. I try to watch as many videos as I can, even like in between when I'm at work sometimes or whatever the case may be, wherever. I try to do as much as I can to show everybody, look, I'm trying to support and engage with my fellow creators because it's we're all in the same boat. No matter what size the channel is, no matter what size your brand is, we all started in the same way. We all have the same or similar aspirations, and it's a community. So if we don't support each other, who will? So
that's very, very true, and um, it's one of those experiences that before you're involved with it, before you're interacting with it, when you're kind of outside of it and maybe you're just a subscriber or a viewer to a channel, or you've interacted but not as a like a fellow content creator, it really opens your eyes up once you're involved with it, and it gives you perspective of like, I know I've had this perspective before of like, wow, that person's kind of a jerk or whatever. But then once you're on the other side and then
mhm,
you interact with that person again, it's kind of like, well, yeah, it's because they deal with a lot of s- like
mhm,
stupid comments basically, and people being mean, and you have the trolls and things like that, and
yeah.
hopefully you don't have to deal with that a ton.
I still get it, even though it don't matter what size your channel is or whatever. You're gonna get it. There's always gonna be somebody that makes these weird off the wall comments, and you're just like, uh, okay, you might need to go back to sleep and wake up on the other side of the bed. But I think the bigger your channel gets and the more notarized it becomes, the more trolls you get. But somebody told me before, if you don't have trolls and you don't have haters, apparently you ain't doing it right. So if you're getting trolls and you're getting haters, then apparently you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So The more you get, the better. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Well, it means people are watching. That means people are coming to your channel. So you know what?
Mhm.
If 80 people want to come on and I'll troll my channel, well then that's great. That's 80 views I get every single time they come on. At
Exactly.
least if they're watching. If they're not,
Exactly.
well then go away. But
Pretty much.
you can, well, it's like you watch the super successful channels
Mhm.
and they get to the point where either one or two things happen. Their chats when they do live streams are all threaded with a bunch of bots and a bunch of people trolling, or you constantly see messages getting deleted because they have the
The filters and all that
the
in place.
filters set up, and they have, well, and StreamYard has filters in place where
Hmm.
if somebody is constantly, the only thing though that's ironic with that is, and I've noticed this every once in a while, I don't know if you've seen this at all, that if you are putting emojis in your comments, like one after the other, StreamYard will start deleting them because it thinks you're spamming the person with emojis. So,
Oh
like, you have
wow.
to be careful. So, like, sometimes what you can do is you can make 2 comments with emojis and then just not put one in the next one, then put it in because sometimes people just use that as, like, their it's a way of communicating. It's a
Yeah.
visual thing that's not words, thumbs up,
Mhm.
muscles, all sorts of things.
I use it a ton on
Fist
Twitter.
bumps, all sorts of things, and well, yeah, Twitter is huge because you're limited to the number of, characters you can put in, and
Yep. Yep.
or you can be funny and do what I've started doing where I will put what I wanna say in a comment, and then I'll
Mhm.
do a screenshot of it, and then I'll share that picture if it's, like, something really long I wanna say, so I don't have to, like, because have you ever seen where people do these threads of, like, 15. You'll see,
Yes.
like, 1 of 15, 2 of 15, 3 of 50. The
Mhm.
funniest one is where when somebody did 1 of 2, and then their next one was like, "Oh, 2 of never mind, this is gonna be 2 of 3," and then it was like 3 of 4, and before I knew it, they just kept adding. It's like, once you saw that once you
Yeah.
saw that happen, after the first I would think, like, after the first 2, you
Mhm.
would just what I would do is I'd just go back, copy those tweets like, a note, delete those tweet, continue my thing in a note, and then just post that whole thing up, and somebody can just scroll through that image and check it out if they want to.
That's a
It's
good way to do it.
um because I've just had things that are it's like it's 5 words longer than the thing, so I don't wanna have 1 tweet and then 5 words and another added tweet. And then sometimes what's really funny is somebody will just see, like, the extra words because it puts it out as a separate thing
Mhm.
and be like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "Go check the check." That's why you gotta click on those threads, so.
Yeah, that's true. I had to as a matter of fact, you got me on that the other day when I made the tweet about my wife and you were like, "How you not put the link?" I was like, "Wait, I did put the link, but that was in a separate tweet."
Yeah, it was funny. That's what I love in the whole, GIF thing too is great.
Mhm. I'm big on gifs and I'm big on emojis. Um, yeah, I use both of them a lot.
So, what is your I guess, I would say, what is your intent or your intention or your goal or whatever you wanna call it with your channel, with being a content creator, with being on YouTube? What do you want people to get out of what you bring?
I want people to really my channel is about helping people make a good buying decision. Let them know like what they're getting so they don't have to spend their money and be disappointed later. You know what I mean? So like if I can get a product ahead of time, like I have a case, you can see it right there that I haven't opened yet. I need to review. Um, that review might help somebody who's looking at getting that particular computer case know if it's a good case for them or not before they actually spend their money to get it, and then find out, nah, this might not have been the best case for me, or this is a great case. Thanks for reviewing it and let me know. So Yeah, it's pretty much that. Just helping people make the right buying decision and buying choice before they spend their hard-earned money that they've been busting their butt to make. So
Good. That's what I wish more people would do. Sometimes I feel like I sit down, I watch these, and it's like it's a commercial or an advertisement, or it's like all it is like the specs, and then every once in a while they might throw a few photo samples and video samples in there. But at the end, there's no conclusion. There's
yeah.
no it's like they wrote this whole thesis, but they didn't put a conclusion, so you have no idea, like, should I buy it or not? What do they think about it? Like, tell me.
Hmm.
Don't but, I mean, you don't have to say, "Do buy this," or "Don't buy this," but it can literally be, "Okay, this is a good thing, and buy this if you're looking for something with this, 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 and this, buy it. If you're looking for something with this, 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 and this, don't buy it because it doesn't have that sort of thing," and it's
Hmm.
frustrating to me because I've literally sat there and gone to and big channel like, huge channels have done this where you sit there and it's like, for example, I've been looking at, the new Huawei P40, not the
Hmm.
Pro, just the regular P40, and I've been looking at the Xiaomi Mi 10, not the Note 10, the Mi 10
Right.
that they just announced, and I've been looking at these devices, and you go online, and they do these comparisons, or you find a single video that's just talking about it, but at the end, it's like, I don't know if this thing is good or not. You just told me, like, all these things, but it's
The
like
specs.
I could have read that on a box. Like, I could go to their website and literally and that's what I ended up doing was going to their website because there were things that were left out. So if you're gonna read the
Hmm.
specs to me, at least list everything, and
Hmm.
then also use that to create a dialogue. Use that to be informative. Don't bore everybody because I feel but that's the thing. Once these channels get big enough,
Hmm.
they can do that because people will just come to watch because it's them.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're at the stage though where we have to have, yeah, you pump out content. I I put out streams, I put out videos, but you have to have some sort of quality in there to gain people. But I feel like you get to a certain point and you could put out anything. And
Hmm.
it's just sad to me because it's like, man, these people used to be great. And I stay subscribed to them because they do. I like watching their stuff. I learn from. I don't know if you ever do where like, you'll watch videos to learn to kinda watch for the transitions and
Hmm.
see, like, the angles that they're shooting from to try to more for like, sometimes I'll watch them not even I've turned the sound off and watch videos just to see, like, the camera angles and the transitions and, like, the
Yeah.
B-roll and seeing what they're doing,
Hmm.
um, to be educated.
I, I
Um,
I do that all the time, especially now. It's funny because in the last week and a half, I've watched. It's been like a 3-to-1 ratio, maybe 4-to-1 ratio of camera videos versus tech videos because I'm trying to learn how to use my camera better because I've got a A6600 and I'll be honest, I have no idea how to use it. I put it on auto, click record, and go. But I want to be able to do more with it. So I've been watching camera videos and saying, "Oh, so they're shooting from that angle. Okay." And they're setting the camera. Oh, okay. So that's how they're setting the camera up. Um, for the same reason, like you were saying, like I want to learn different things. So watching other creators is a good way to do that. So,
I can give you some really, really, really solid advice if you, want it when it comes to when you're first trying to learn,
mhm,
whether you know how photography you're just trying to learn a new camera. So you could be the best photographer in the world, but you're just trying to learn a new camera. You wanna learn
mhm,
how the hardware works, you wanna learn how to adjust things.
mhm,
Don't do outside photography. Don't photograph people that are moving. Start off with objects, like, set up some lights or a light and just set it there and photograph it. And here's why. The lighting is constant, the object isn't moving, so you can figure out your exposure. You can figure out what do I have to do to get just this product in focus and blur the
mhm.
background. What do I have to do to get it and the background in focus? What do I have to do so I can step back, zoom in on it? Because you do have a different perspective of being close up to it versus stepping back and zooming in on it. You might fill the frame the same, but you get that different perspective, different feeling, different depths of field. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you can take that and you can go outside and be able to, okay, things are moving, so I need to adjust for the exposure. I need to aim in the general direction just for the exposure, then frame my image, get it in, autofocus is great, things like that. Get it in focus and snap. But once you get the basic exposure down and you get the basic use of the tools in a controlled environment, it's much less frustrating. So
Okay.
that's just my tip, because it's the same thing. It's what I do when I get a new smartphone or something and I'm tinkering with it, right? You don't try to push everything at once. You learn how it is as it's set up. You go in and you make the adjustments. Like I always go in and turn on developer mode, right? And I always go in and I turn off basically all the animations. And you go in and there's certain things that you do when you first get a device, but then you tinker with it before you go out and you start shooting photos with it, or you hook it up and use Dex mode if it's a Samsung device, or Huawei has their desktop mode, or pretty much any Android smartphone now will start having that stuff. But you use it in the basic function and then you start exploring the technicalities of it. And so when it comes to photography and it comes to cameras, that's the advice I give to anybody. Do the same thing. Just start off simple and don't challenge yourself, because then you get frustrated and you're like, well, why did I just buy all this? Am I wasting my money? Did I waste my money because I just put all this money? Now I'm frustrated, and you might put a camera down and not use it.
Mm-hmm. I can't even
Um,
begin to tell you. I've had this camera since I bought this back in February, maybe January, February, somewhere around that time. And for the first 3 weeks I had it, I still recorded my videos on my iPhone.
the other
I
thing
got
you can
frustrated. I got
the,
frustrated with it.
the
So,
other thing you can do is you can always put it on auto mode.
mm-hmm,
You know what? And unless you're sending up the original somewhere with all the metadata in it, and somebody's going to take the time to download that, bring it into some program, or I guess Google Photos will show this too, and look and see if you actually put it in auto mode,
mm-hmm,
nobody's going to know. And who cares? In all honesty, who cares? Like,
yeah,
um, if you got a good image, does it matter that you put it in auto?
I don't
Not
think
really,
so.
because you could put your phone in manual mode and get the right exposure, but if the framing is wrong, the way you're using the lighting to get the textures on materials, to get it so you don't get glare and the angles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If if you have the wrong angle of the light, a bunch of glare and reflections and just things are awful, who cares if you put it in manual mode? If you can get a really good image and have that thing in auto, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it's about. I mean, half the time that's why people have gone to using their smartphones.
Yeah.
Um, when I was taking photography, one of the things that one of the popular terms was called MWAC, MWAC, moms with a camera. And basically, it's all these people that when DSLRs got more affordable, they would go out and buy those, right? And they would go out and they'd be photographing their family and their kids and things like that because the auto mode and because they can. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's something that, like, when you're in a professional and in the industry, you have to be able to compete with, right? Well, it's the same thing now with smartphones. Make it even worse because now they have all this AI stuff where, like, and Samsung has suggested things, or like it has a leveler in there, or it will see the horizon and tell you to tip your camera just right. So if you're sitting
Really?
there
Wow.
and you're shooting somebody, but you're not straight onto them, you're at a slight angle to them because you like the layout, and then the horizon is tilted, it
Mm-hmm.
will tell you to tilt your camera to line up that horizon. Because if you think about it, it's one of those, like, if you have sidewalk in front of you, right, and it's close to you on your left and gets farther away to your right,
Mm-hmm.
if you move that further away from you and you treat that as the horizon, it's the same thing. to counter that, you have to tip up the camera. Well, phones start doing
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And that's something that you have to compete against. And I think it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It
Mhm.
also causes people to kind of niche down.
Yeah.
And
That's actually hard for a lot of new creators to do, myself included. The niche down to what your channel is going to be about.
well, mine's changed. And you can see that because originally I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna get these inexpensive phones. I'm gonna look at like these phones that nobody's really heard of, but they're inexpensive. They offer you a lot of stuff. For
Mhm.
the people who don't care about specs, for the people who don't necessarily need to have the best camera, but a camera that will work okay in most situations, um, and or for the people that don't even care if the camera on it's good at all, because they just want a decent working smartphone that they can beat up, and if the thing breaks, they can buy another one because it's like $100 and they'll be good to go.
Right.
And then I realized, well, that doesn't work because people were looking for that, but that was like a one trick pony. So if you did another video on it, it did okay, but then when I hit the third video on it, nobody cared anymore.
Gotcha.
And then I kind of shifted away into, well, I'm just going to do every smartphone. It doesn't matter. Whatever phone I get, I'm just going to do videos on. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to compare it to other phones I have. And that did okay. And then I kind of decided, well, why don't I go in the direction where it doesn't matter what phone I have, and talk just about tech without actually talking about the device necessarily. And you can do that. You can talk about different apps because then that hits everybody. It doesn't matter what Android phone you have. If the
Mhm.
app's available, it's available. And now it's been kind of one of these, well, now I'm kind of one of the interviews, streaming, photography people, and so it's shifted that way, and it's interesting to see channels change and channels emerge, and um, what's crazy to me is, like, I'll do a live stream, and I'll get it off the live stream, and I'll check, and the watch time, it's like, I can do an hour live stream, get off here, 20 hours of watch time, but then
Mhm.
I go do a video that's, like, 5 minutes, and I will barely break, like, 3 hours of watch time if I'm lucky. It's like, so
Yeah.
for me, as somebody trying to get those hours, trying to get those views, trying to get the time in, that's why I'm doing both. And that's why I'm trying to do, I have my Thursday thing that's me, and then I have my Friday one with Chris, battery powered, that's in the chat. And
Okay.
then I came on here with you, and I kind of like this Monday thing because people are like, if nobody streams over the weekend, then they have to wait till late, like Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday to get something.
Mhm.
And I know, shout out to Big John Tech Reviews. He actually was doing a stream, I think at 8 o'clock tonight. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but
Okay.
for that very reason, it's one of those things I was thinking this is perfect timing, especially if, for instance, let's say I don't have anything scheduled Thursday, but let's say I had one of my creator interviews scheduled on Thursday to come in on Monday, then that's one of those slots that not a lot of people are here for. And it's just kind of an open slot for anything, right? So I
Yeah.
can have you on and we could talk. And I kind of interviewed you in a way, and we're just talking or whatever, but it's just whatever, and people can come in, have fun. People that got started back to work, they're frustrated, they get home, they're annoyed that they're back to work now after the weekend or whatever. There's been people that have been off for like 3-4 days because they work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they'll be off like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. and then the next week they'll work like 3 days and they'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
They're lucky.
and they just want something to do on Monday. There's no Monday night football, so
yeah, I'm feeling that.
there,
I'm not looking forward to that.
there's not much on. There's not much on Mondays, so it's fun,
Yeah.
And streaming, it's not necessarily easier because obviously I have all this stuff I'm doing right now. Like I have the chat over here I'm looking at. I have my stuff to coordinate. I have to communicate with you and have a constant flow. Where like in a video, if I were just to sit down and shoot and then I get stuck, I can just hit end record and go back to it, or I can just sit here and be stuck and then just go in and drop out that part. And so it's fun to do these streams. So thank you for coming on tonight and doing this.
Oh,
And
thank you for having me on.
I feel like I'm talking a lot, so
Oh no, you're
but
good.
that
You're good.
happens.
You're good. You're good. I actually, I was gonna ask you. I wanted to respond to K Hodge. They asked me a question earlier, and I didn't get a chance to respond to it.
Oh
But
yeah, Kalanji, he asked,
what's one of the best items I've reviewed so far?
yeah, I gotta see if I can find the.
Honestly, I made a video on this not too long ago. It's what I use for my iPad. It's an adapter I use for my iPad. That thing is an absolute lifesaver. Um, that is it's something most of the stuff that I review, because the way I review is a little different. I know a lot of people, they get new products in and day one they're opening it up. You're seeing them open it on the video and they're talking about it right then and there. They don't really know anything about the product. 9 times out of 10, they're opening it up. They're finding out about it right as you're finding out about it. I do it a little differently. I like to get the stuff in, actually use it for a while, so I can give a legit review on it. Because if I'm opening it up and reviewing it right then on the spot, I don't know anything about the product. I haven't had a chance to use it. I don't know if it's good quality, if it's going to hold up or not. Um, that device I bought, and a lot of stuff I review on my channel is stuff that I've actually purchased myself and I use on a daily basis. But that adapter, um, combined with the actual remote that I use for my camera, um, those are two of my D3 Pro microphone. Those are three products that I will say, yeah, I can swear by those three. The only one I didn't purchase was a DD microphone, but the other two I purchased with my own money, and all three I use in every single video. So,
What kind of adapter is it? Is it something? Are you talking about something like this?
let me see. It's very similar to that. Yes, yes, it's very similar to that. Plugs into my iPad. I know Adrienne L. She does editing for Travis McP, and she was looking for an adapter. She had linked something that was pretty much identical to it, but it was like $100. I was like, no, don't buy that. I was like, that's a bad deal. Don't buy that. So I linked my video to her, and the link that I had in my description was half that price. It was still $50 for the same exact product. So I was like, this is something I can recommend because I use it and it's a great product. And now you're saving 40 to $50. So here you go. Have a nice day.
Do you know what the brand is?
Um,
If you can pull up a link, you can throw it in there. You can
Mine
throw it
it's
in
a
the
Canex.
chat if you want.
Let's see. This one is a Canex. I can't remember.
You get it on Amazon.
Yep, I bought it on Amazon. It's a USB-C hub for the iPad Pro, and it's a the Canex adapter. It's in my old video I put up about a week ago, a couple
I'm
weeks ago.
trying to see if I can find it. Oh yeah, there's one on here that's like $100. There's another one that's like $70.
Yep.
The Canex ones have all gone up in price right now, though. I think a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, they're ripping people off because they can. A lot of companies have been doing that. I've been looking at some stuff that I wanted to get for me, and the pricing on it is completely skyrocketed. Like even like I was telling you, I bought that ring light that I was supposed to be using for streaming that I'm not using for streaming. I bought that originally, and it was I think I paid $60 for it or something like that. but the same exact ring light right now is like $100. I'm like, I'm not paying that, not for another one. That's crazy.
It's funny that you say that because I've been looking at different things on Amazon. I'm like looking at these phones, right? And I go on there, it's like, oh, it's $1,000 on Amazon. And then
Hmm.
I go on eBay and it will be like $600-700 for the exact same thing. There's
Yeah,
huge markups. Like you're talking about like 50, it's like been around 40 to 50% markup.
easily,
And then I think
easily.
it's ironic that they did what they did recently where they dropped the commission on oh, what do you call it? The affiliate program. Like some
Hmm.
things you don't get any commission for now.
Hmm.
They just kind of dropped it all in general. It's like,
Well,
and they didn't say if it was temporary or anything. Like, oh,
I
we're
don't
just
think it
doing
is.
this because everything that's going on and we're not doing a lot of sales and it's hurting us, so we need to drop it so our percentages. It's like, no, it's not hurting you. You're the literally. I just saw this article today. Jeff Bezos is
Yeah,
now the wealthiest person in the world.
yeah.
Like, that's
It's.
what this did. Like, this turned him from, like, he
Mhm,
wasn't even in the top 5. Like, literally, he was if you were counting through, he'd be on your other hand.
mhm,
But now he's at the top, like, wealthier than, like, the guy from, India who's, like, the multi-billionaire and that
mhm,
owns, like, skyscrapers and stuff. It's like,
mhm.
so he ain't struggling, and that's after he gave away half of his money went away to his wife. So imagine what like, or his ex-wife, imagine what it would be without that now. He'd be even more. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't tell me they're hurting, and
No, Amazon's not hurting at all. They've actually had to hire more people to try to keep up with the flow of what's going on with them. Um,
well,
so as
I
far
know
as they're
they
concerned, they're kind of like, we're the big dogs. Everybody's coming to us anyway. So do we really need to be paying y'all when people are just going to come and buy stuff from us anyway? So for me, I look at it. It doesn't really affect me. I'm not making money on Amazon anyway.
I
At least
know
I haven't seen much of it anyway.
I know that, the one warehouse in Michigan
Mm,
just was hiring like 1,200 people or something like that because they're adding like a whole new, I think it's like to add a whole new shift in.
mhm,
So instead of running 2 shifts, they're going to add a 3rd shift. And
mhm,
it's not like they're going any more hours, but it's because they're working so consistently, they're actually having to what they're going to do is they're going to drop the shift lengths down for the people that are currently working.
mhm.
Doesn't mean they'll lose hours, but it also makes them more efficient. It's like instead of having 2 people working like 10-hour shifts and then having 4 hours that are not that are kind of for transition,
Mhm.
they'll have basically 3 8-hour shifts and um that will there'll still be some delay in there because some of the shifts will overlap and there'll still be all that going on. But it's like that is crazy.
Oh yeah, they're building a new warehouse, maybe 6 minutes from my house. I pass it every day going and coming from work, and just the amount of new subdivisions that are going up, new everything around this area is all because of Amazon moving in and coming in
Where
town.
or I should say, whereabouts do you live?
I live in Raleigh. Well, I live in the suburbs of Raleigh, North Carolina. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, and um, they have a warehouse in Durham, which is 30 minutes away. Not even 30 minutes away,
We were
but
supposed
they need
to
more.
get we were supposed to get, I think, another one, and they were talking about 2 more in Michigan. They were supposed to build another one by Detroit, like not too far from the airport. And
Mhm,
then the stupid politicians got in the way of it because they okay, so Amazon wants tax breaks, like city tax breaks if they're
yeah.
gonna come in an area. So they're like, "No." But think about this. At the same time, that meant jobs that went away, that went the taxes that they would have still been paying is gone. So,
Mhm.
like, dropping that 2%, like,
Just the amount of
that
business it's gonna bring to the area,
that
just
would've
jobs. Yeah.
I
It adds to
mean,
the economy because if you think about it, like I said, they're building I know of at least 5 or 6 brand new subdivisions that are being built right now, and they're all within the range of the Amazon warehouse that's being built. And that's
Just
because they're looking at how many new employees are be coming to the area. People are going to be looking for housing and all that. So it's ridiculous. Like they're expanding the highway, all kinds of stuff over here. So
I know just the size of the one warehouse, the number of employees that work there would be 8 times the population of the city I live in, which, I mean, it's not a huge city. It's 2,500 people, but
mhm.
20,000 people just at the one facility. And they were supposed to build 2 of them. The other one was going to be smaller. So 30,000 people, though, between the 2 places. One time kind of towards Detroit, and then the other one would have been towards Flint, which would have been great because, well, they've been on the news with that whole water situation and
Yeah,
all that
Flint needs
junk
help
that's
right
going
now.
on, and all the poverty that's down there and people losing their houses because, of everything that's going on, the investments they were going to put. They would have had to fix a bunch of roads. They would have had to put in new water facilities. They would have had to put in like water treatment facilities. They would have had to put in electrical, like solar panels and windmills and grid stuff. And
They're
like
trying to
the
avoid
amount of
having to do all of
money
that.
that Amazon, no, the amount of money that Amazon was going to put in, though, like
Mhm.
they were going to literally do all this for the city, and it would have helped the city. They're like, nah, screw our citizens. They don't need this. So.
Yeah, that's why I thoroughly dislike majority of politicians because of that.
But
It's all about what they want to do and not thinking about the actual people who actually put them where they are.
at the same time, it's made me start shifting like where I'm looking to buy stuff online, because it was also partially Amazon's fault because they're not willing to budge at all. They're not willing to be like, oh, that's okay. We'll pay the taxes. It's like, dude, you're not hurting as a company. Pay your taxes, bring jobs there, do the right thing. And so it made me think like, I don't really want to. So then there's been times where I'm looking on Amazon, and what I'll look for is that it's like shipped by Amazon, but
Mhm,
that it's a third party seller or something. So at least I'm supporting somebody else other than just Amazon too. Or I'll
mhm.
go on eBay. I'll find the same seller and go on eBay. And sometimes it's cheaper. Like you can see the same seller on Amazon that's an Amazon certified reseller or whatever, or
Mhm.
certified seller. And then you go on eBay, and like I said, I've seen things that, well, right now are like 30% cheaper because they're
It's the Amazon
50% more
tax.
expensive on Amazon
Yeah, it's the
because
Amazon
of
tax.
what, well, for one, what they charge, plus these companies are having to pay shipping now because Amazon has changed their shipping deals.
Mhm.
So it's like I'll go on eBay and buy something, and then I'll get it faster. Like right now, you can get stuff, like I've seen things that aren't shipping out till like mid-May. Some things aren't even shipping out till like the 3rd week to the end of May, and
Mhm.
gone on eBay, and I can get it Friday.
Yeah.
Like free shipping on Friday. I saw something there I could pay $5 and get it Wednesday.
Okay.
Like so it's like, well, instead of paying to Amazon to get Amazon Prime, I just go spend the.
Look, we thought about even like pausing our Amazon Prime for a while because a lot of the stuff that we were ordering that was on Prime was saying the same thing. Like I was looking at some smart plugs. I got my Stream Deck a couple days ago. Shout out to my wife for getting me the Stream Deck. But she
Oh
got me a
yeah, I
Stream
saw
Deck.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, whew, was not expecting that, but very happy. Um, so I was like, let me get some smart plugs so I can hook up my lights when I'm doing my videos. They're mounted up on the ceiling back here. I always have to reach up there and cut them on, and it's a pain in the butt because I don't want to have to do that. I'd rather just hit a button, all of those lights come on, and it sets the mood like it's supposed to. So I was like, let me get some smart plugs and set that up. And everything I kept looking on Amazon was like May 7th, May 9th. I'm like, dude, I need it now. I don't want to wait. And this is on Prime. I'm like, no. And then finally I found one that was on Prime, which is the one I actually ordered, but I'm still not going to get it until Thursday. And I ordered it last night. So it's like Thursday or Friday is the earliest I can get it. I'm like, okay, what am I paying Prime for then? But yeah.
I mean, I've seen a few things and I've been tempted to do the Prime because it will pop up and be like, oh, your shipping right now is this much, but if you pay for Prime, then you don't pay all the shipping and I was like, or I can look and be like, okay, I'm gonna order 3 things. Shipping is like $10 an item. So I'll go to check eBay because if it's $15 or $20 more, I'm still gonna save like $5 to $15 or like $10-15 because even if I paid extra over on eBay because of the shipping being what it is on Amazon, so it's like I could do that and I can see the difference, and like I can get discount on Amazon Prime where it's like half price or whatever. So it's instead of $11.99, it's $5.99 or whatever. But still, it's like it's one of those situations like, well, or I can go, like I said, go somewhere else and find it and get it directly from the company or directly from sellers
Yeah.
and PayPal. Um, well, actually, I don't really have issues with some of the stuff that PayPal has been doing, but they haven't screwed me yet as far as like if I've had issues and went to dispute, but they did take
I hate you.
money that they weren't supposed to take. But now I don't know if I want to deal with them. So when I deal with companies that have their own refund policy and their own stuff and they're trusted and they have like, you know, 200,000 reviews and they're all pretty much all positive and things like that. So,
Yeah.
um, it's it's the struggle and but even Amazon, you're still dealing with whether they're gonna allow returns or not. And some sellers don't allow returns through Amazon, but if you check them
Oh,
out through eBay, they will. And it's because Amazon still takes their percentage a lot of times.
trust me, I know. You see that big box back here behind me on that table way back there? That's a
Yeah.
giant heat press that I had purchased on Amazon from a third party seller and realized I really didn't need it. So I was gonna return it. And yeah, can't return it. So it's still there, still completely unopened, and it's been sitting there for about 3 months now. I still haven't used it. So like yeah.
The thing right now too is that a lot of sellers were using the where you could go return stuff through Kohl's or you can
Mhm.
return stuff and
Close is close.
they didn't and Kohl's is closed, and they haven't gone in and changed their return stuff so that you can just ship it directly back. So, because some of them literally that was the only option. It wasn't either or. It wasn't like, or you can print out a slip and we'll charge you, or you can, do this or that. It was like, nope, that's your only option, and they're
Mhm.
closed right now. So it's like, oh yeah, so you can hold on to it, but also you're not getting your money back until you can then go to Kohl's and return it. So like they're sitting there with like hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of potentially of stuff, depending on what you're
Mhm.
and yeah, it will
Yeah.
be interesting to see. Um, I do have to agree with this comment.
Hmm?
I think he said, I think that the pandemic after the pandemic, we'll see the revival of brick and mortar stores. I think so because
I hope so. If
people
anything.
will realize how trash a lot of online stuff was because they were stuck with that as their only choice,
Mhm.
and how blessed they were to be able to go to a store and just look at something. Like right now, imagine you want a new hat or you need a new pair of shoes or a new shirt. So you're going to order it and then it's going to come to you and you're going to find out whether sizing was off
Mhm.
or the sizing was based out of China or the sizing was based out of the UK and you needed to order like 1 or 2 sizes larger and it got to you.
Mhm.
And then you're going to have to return it and get another one sent to you. Or if you happen to have the extra money and you know that they're going to give you your money back, order it in the right size and then just send the other one back. That way you don't have to wait. Because
Yeah.
that's the other thing. If you order something right now and it's like mid-May before it's supposed to get to you and then it gets to you and this is still going on and it's the wrong thing and you
You're stuck.
return it, you're going to be waiting until like June to get the right thing. Like from April to you're going to be like 2 months later because something got. And if I
Yeah.
can just walk into a store and try it on, or even just walk into a store and grab something and I can't try it on because I don't have time or whatever. I bring it home, it's the wrong thing. I can just go right back to the store, swap it out, get the right thing. It's like
Some stores. I say
some
some
store.
stores, and I say that because with my embroidery business, on my Etsy page, I have these towel sets that I use for Chi Phi sorority, and they have certain colors that you have to use, like either yellow or a certain color of green. So I ordered a towel set from Target online, whereas I order it online, pay for it, and just go to the store and pick it up. Well, I went and picked it up, left out the store, got home, opened it up, which was partially my fault. I should have looked at it when I was in the store. But I opened it up and looked, I was like, this is the wrong color. So I took it back to the store and they're just like, yeah, we're not taking any returns until April 17th. I'm like, okay, this was 2 weeks ago. So April 17th rolls around. I go back to take it back over to the store again. Yeah, we extended it. We're not taking anything back until the middle of May. What? So I'm basically just stuck with these towels and I can't exchange them until then. So I just had to buy a whole nother set and just hold on to them hold on to the ones that are wrong until they decide to let me return them.
That's the other thing though too that I found out. And like Target's doing that now too, is like you buy something. And that's what I'm wondering, because I don't know if you saw, but the facts this you probably won't be able to see it, but this thing has some scratches on it. See right
Okay.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Took it out of the box, sat it on the thing, and was sitting there. My wife sent me a message. I responded. I look up and I look over and I go, heck no, there's scratches on this thing already. My thing is I bought it from Walmart and I don't want to drive there only to find out they won't let me return this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only one. So that's why I tweeted it out, and we'll see. I was hoping that maybe the company would just reach out to me and be like, sorry about your experience. Maybe they would hit me up, or they'd be like, hey, we want to send you something, or like, this is what, but nope.
Nah, not all
And a
companies
lot of
do
them
that.
are doing this thing, like, I don't know. I've had pretty good luck with companies though on Twitter, like responding, and I think it's because that's more public interaction.
Yeah.
So like they don't want that going and creating like this long thread, and then everybody who has a bad experience with them tags on it. It just looks
Mm-hmm.
so. I've had pretty good luck with
Put them
stuff
on
on Twitter.
blast. Yep. You put them on blast on social
Better
media.
than like going to their specific stuff.
Yeah. Most of the time they don't respond at all.
Yeah. Well, T-Mobile, for instance, has their own. That's the other thing that's crazy though, is T-Mobile has their own social media team. And
Mm.
I've actually been told before to like go to their one time when I had some question, like their chat was locked up for a while because they were swamped with with so many people. They're like, just go to Twitter. I did, and it was like 2 minutes later I had somebody messaging me. 2 minutes later after that I was done. And then somebody called me, like directly called me, and I talked to somebody and they're like, "Oh, we fixed it." Cool. It was it was pretty cool. It was let's see, what was it? Oh, when we were first with them, we had it all under my wife's social security number and everything,
Mm.
because I figured that her credit's better than mine, and so we could do better deals,
Mm-hmm.
or we should get better deals because she doesn't have any doinks on her credit or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently they don't look at that. They look at credit score. So even though my credit score is slightly better, but I also have some things on there. So I switched it all under my name and created a new account. Well, when they did that, apparently they forgot to actually transfer the payment agreement plans from hers to mine. So they wanted to like drop it out and have us pay off all the phones. Now, it wasn't a lot,
Mm.
because we went with like two basically free phones, and then one we went with the Pixel 3 XL, and another like phone. It was like $600 and some dollars. Like, nuh-uh. So they contacted us and they're like, "Oh, we figured it out." So, yeah. And the funny
Yeah.
thing though is, they transferred the devices to our new account.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they probably won't see this, but I was, um, They didn't put the payments on there though, so it shows like we're nothing each month on them. So
Hey,
I'm like, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, I would say a word. Like that. Hey, that's
It like apparently what they did is they just like cleared it. Like, I mean, when I go in, I can see that it's like part of the jump plan or whatever, but it doesn't say that anything. So I'm like, I'll take it.
I
Our
wish
bill's the
AT&T
same.
would do that.
So I was like, our bill's looking good. So I was like, bill's what it's supposed to be. So it's like, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Yeah. We were on AT&T and never again. Let's just put it that way.
AT&T.
They screwed a lot up when we switched to. That's why I'm not using my iPhone, because when we switched, I had iPhone 10.
Mm,
So my wife and I had iPhone 10s on AT&T. When the iPhone 12s came out, we got those, and then there was just like what we did is we got them as new lines, because if you upgrade, you didn't get the buy one and then get like the second one $700 off. So we just did new lines, and then we were going to pay off like let the last 2 months of the other ones pay off.
mhm,
Well, then we decided we're going to switch to T-Mobile. So what we'll do is we were going to just keep the 12s over at AT&T and transfer everything else over.
mhm,
I went to T-Mobile and I didn't have my 10 with me, so I called AT&T to get the IMEI number.
mhm,
They gave us the wrong ones, or they gave us the right one, but then AT&T, instead of dropping the correct, okay, so they gave us the correct IMEI numbers, but then AT&T dropped the wrong phones, so they dropped their iPhone 12s off, and it's like we don't have $2,500 to pay right now. So those get locked to AT&T, and they won't fix it, and they won't do anything about it. They won't admit that
mhm.
they messed up.
I
Um,
I had to do
I
that with
mean,
my 10.
they still owe me money from when they had where you buy a device and you got a $300 card. And I contacted them ahead of time because I was like, I just got this deal. I had just gotten one, and they're like, well, as long as it's more than 2 months in between, it will be fine, because by the time the new one processes, it will be 3 months in between and you can get it again, because apparently you can't have more than one out, because the way that the company that handles those cards is,
Mhm,
if one's already on your account, it won't let them process another one. And apparently the way it works is it stays on your account for like a month after so you have to have the device for so long past the return period, which makes sense, before they'll send that out to you. And then it has to be like another month before you can do another one of those deals, because it stays on the account. And I was like, that's kind of stupid to begin with. But anyways, it had been past that time. So I got in touch with AT&T. I contacted them. I was like, this is the deal. I want to make sure if I get this phone that I'm going to still get that card. And like, oh yeah, sure. Because what I was going to do is then take it and use it to pay off a phone with them. I was going to take the 300 and use it to pay off one of the iPhones with them.
yeah,
And then
that
they didn't give it to me, and they won't admit they're wrong. Um, like the girl was rude. So I just was like, we're done with that. So the funny thing though is we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, we have, well, originally we got we got the A10e, because when we switched, we didn't need to get phones or anything, but they make you, when you do the device trade-in, you can't just do a SIM card, you have to do a phone. So we got like one of them, we got a Pixel 3 XL for me,
mhm,
and then my wife didn't need anything, so we just got the A10e, and then they had that where you got the third line for free.
mhm,
Well, and then later, um, we traded in my wife's iPhone 10 from AT&T, and I got the 7T Pro, and or the OnePlus 7T, just the regular one, and then she was using the Pixel 3 XL. And then now, since I had a Note 10 Plus, I did the deal with Samsung and traded that in for the 700
mhm.
and paid $360 and got the S20. unlocked from Samsung, and then I just put the SIM card from the Pixel 3 XL in that. But we have 4 phone lines, plus my iPad, plus, well, technically we have 3. Okay, how does that work? We have 3 lines. Yeah, 3 lines plus my iPad. And then when I got my iPad, they had a deal where they would give you another one for free. Essentially another line for free. So they had the sync up drive, the thing you can plug in your car
Yeah.
for free. So we got the device for free. Basically paid $34, the $30 for the activation and the $4 for the taxes on it. And then now their free plan on that sync up drive is like 2 gigs of data. So we just pay the $10 more a month to get the unlimited on there. So when we're in the car, or like I can hand my son like a old phone that doesn't have data connection and just pair it to that, and he has, wherever we have service, basically he's good to go.
Yeah.
But we essentially have 1, 2, 3 phone lines, my iPad, that sync up drive, unlimited on everything, and it's $200, including device payments.
I would jump for joy, backflip and everything else, so I can get a deal like that. We got 8 lines. 8 lines. We have 2, 3, 4, 3 iPad Pros, another iPad. Everybody has an Apple Watch, AirPods, or Beats Pros. Like my bill is ridiculous. My bill is like $800 a month.
Yeah, I told
Yeah.
myself never again. I'm like, I am trying to pay off devices if I can, buy them outright. If I have a device I want to review, I'm not getting it until I can buy the thing outright, because I'm not having it. Well, because the other thing that you got to think about is not, oh, it's a great deal, I can get it free on my account, except for you're paying them $30 a month
Yeah.
as an additional line, plus all the little fees that they throw in there. And let's say you get that a year after you start, that's a whole other 18 or 24 months until that's paid off, so it extends everything further.
Mhm.
And so it's like, nope, everything's um, that way. And T-Mobile, their customer service has been really good. When I talked to them, they're like, yeah, we actually have like 73 people right now that are specific for your area. I'm like, that's cool. Like like in their phone system that are like specified for my region.
Okay.
It's like, and it's always somebody from here, so I don't have to worry, like, okay, it sounds bad, but I don't have to worry if, like, they can understand me and I can understand them, because 'cause they're not using a call center, like, overseas somewhere,
Mhm.
which gets really confusing sometimes. And, T-Mobile Tuesdays, somebody mentioned that's been pretty good too. Like, they've had free pizzas in there. One week they had a deal in gas, like, additional 20 cents off a gallon or whatever. So, like, combine that with Shell, and it was like we were getting 45 cents off a gallon that week, and gas was like $1.75, so we paid like $1.30 for gas. It was crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's super crazy.
So, well, you, sir, thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime you are available, I'll have you on again. Be
Okay.
fun. If you, like I said, if you ever want to stream and have somebody join you, I always offer this to people because people are like crazy worried about they're gonna stream, they're gonna mess up. It's like, well, I'll join you, because then if you don't feel like talking, I can talk, like, which is what you've noticed.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all.
You have a good night. Enjoy your family time. Enjoy your dinner, and I'll see you around, on in the Twitter sphere and
Oh yeah.
in the
I'm always in the
chats.
Twitter
And
sphere. I'll be in the Twitter sphere in about 35 minutes, 45 minutes.
anybody who's watching doesn't follow you, subscribe to your YouTube. His stuff is in the. Did I put it down there? It will be in the description. If
Okay.
I didn't put it down there, it will. I think I put it down there. Now I can't remember. It's been a long week and it's only Monday.
Yeah.
But
I understand. Before I go, I'm gonna answer battery powered's question. I think my favorite device is my current one, which is my iPhone 11 Pro Max. Just because of the camera, if nothing else, the camera feature and FaceTime because I have kids in college. So when they're not in college right now, they're actually home. But when they were in school, the FaceTime feature was great, and the camera quality is just next level. So for me, yeah, that's my favorite device right now. So
Has you been getting crazy good battery life? Like, I get crazy good battery life. There's people that complain, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like, when I was running it on LTE, I could get like 14, 16 hours of screen on time easily. Like, I could go a whole weekend at my in-laws and not bring the charger usually.
oh
Like,
yeah, easy.
3 or 4 day week, like a 3 or 4 day weekend with
Yeah.
like 4 hours, 5 hours of screen in time each day, and get home and have like 20% left, plug the thing in. Yeah, it doesn't
Mhm.
charge super fast, but like, okay, so you get home, you're unpacking, and it takes you a while to unpack, and you eat dinner. By the time you're done, it's like gonna be charged. I mean,
Pretty
if it
much.
takes an hour, it's good to go. So, well, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining me.
Yeah, man.
Thank you everybody in the chat. Have a good night, and I'll see you all later this week. And God bless everybody. Anything else you want to say?
Subscribe to both channels, mine and his. If you're not subscribed to either one, make sure you subscribe to him. And yeah, always catch me on Twitter. And I'll see y'all later.
Peace.
Later.